Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to these videos on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at the Sita One. You can find daily posts of the tarot cards on Instagram and Sita's weekly tarot reading on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Sita One. My name is Sita. I'm an intuitive astrologer and psychic tarot reader, and I'm here to share with you my interpretation of the upcoming energies from November 13th to the 19th. Okay, it certainly has been an intense time with the eclipse. Now, I always like to read what other astrologers have to say or watch them to see their interpretation of eclipses. Some believe they really don't have an effect on us. That's okay. Some believe that it happens on just the day or days around the eclipse. And like myself, others believe that it has a 6-month effect. And of course, the eclipses move in cycles. No one would argue with me. No astrologer would argue with me. But I came across something where the astrologer said it's a 5-year cycle. Depends on what time the eclipse and how long the eclipse lasts. And I kind of agree with that. I'm thinking of other eclipses and their cycles. So I believe that if you can think about what you've pulled in or that's been really illuminated in your life. It was a full moon eclipse, and what needs to leave, and it might take about 5 years before it all moves forward. It sounds like a long time, but really, if you're releasing something, you may not see the positive effects from that until much later. So, write it in your journal, and maybe 5 years from now you'll look back and you'll see what I mean. Now, we are feeling a shift of energy, or we will be fairly shortly, as we move into a Sagittarius. What's Sagittarius all about? Sagittarius is the archer, also known as the centaur, and he's a fire sign, and his whole purpose is freedom. He is on a spiritual quest. He's looking towards the sky, shooting his arrow, and he hits his target, and he looks at that big picture. Opposite from Gemini, Gemini looks at the details of what's going on. Sagittarian pulls the information and spreads it out and looks forward into the future. He likes to take risks. He's an adventurer and also has a wicked sense of humor. Now, we can look at the opposite side of this too, but maybe the risk is too great, but he's willing to stumble and go forward and try it anyway. So it's very appropriate as we move into, yes, Christmas, that we're in this phase, and it also releases the tension and the intensity of the Scorpio energy that we've just experienced. So this energy will trine Jupiter and Chiron. Jupiter eventually moves back into Aries, so we'll see that trine. And this is a good thing because it's saying, okay, healing. Chiron's the healer, Jupiter is the expansion, and Jupiter rules Sag, so there you go. Big picture stuff coming. So there's a lot of hope, and there's hope for healing in the future. Before this happens, Pisces, there's going to be this trine with Pisces, so it brings a lot of healing too, because it's at the last degree. So you have the Sun, Venus, and Mercury trining Jupiter, and Jupiter's fairly close to Neptune. So this water energy is happening, and it can soothe a lot of the things and the tension that has gone on in the past before Jupiter moves into back into Aries, and these three planets, Sun, Venus, and Mercury, move on to Sagittarius. So it's good for dealing with conflicts. Now, I say conflicts, we talk about Mars retrograde in Gemini, so just be careful there, especially close to the 19th, because we may have to avoid some misunderstandings. We're going to have a challenge there to avoid some misunderstandings because we have this retrograde Mars. Retrograde Mars is not good. Mars wants to do. So he's pulled back, slowed down. He's frustrated. In Gemini, communication, mental activity, intellect. Square, Neptune, dreams, illusion, And so this is the second time. The first time was October 1st, or sorry, October 11th. So think back to then, and then the issues are going to come up again. So just be careful of the 19th when that energy starts to pull in. But as we see the planets move forward into Sag, we have more hope. We have more hope that now that things are moving forward. There was a lot of talk about Election Day in the United States. We had our own elections in Ontario, in the civic elections. So we're going to see that people are hopeful, especially as they come to Christmas, that things have opened up a bit and they can move around and have bigger family celebrations around that time. So we'll see what happens. I can't guarantee anything, but I will tell you that there's Piscean energy, which can be really subtle but at the same time intense too. There's this Mars in Gemini, which won't come out till January. And then the Saturn-Uranus square is still happening. Now, that's a very interesting square. I came across an author of a book about progressive economics. It fits really well into this Saturn-Uranus square, showing us that we have to look different. We look differently at how we see our global economy, our own economy, even our own personal economy, and look at it as more progressive, giving ourselves more freedom, but establishing those structures that we need to establish that take care of everyone in the collective. So you can look that up and you'll see what I mean. It really defines so specifically what this transit is about, and it's going to have this reverberation for decades to come. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my videos on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at the Sita One. You can find daily posts of the tarot cards on Instagram and Sita's weekly tarot readings on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Sita One. Okay, so remember, stay positive and hopeful, but keep yourself grounded. Don't let your anger get away from you. Watch your driving or watch other people's driving. It is Mars that's retrograde after all. And so people may be holding on to things that they want to say and not finding an outlet. So don't do that yourself. Journal. Find some time to talk to someone special and just let part of this frustration out. But at the same time, be hopeful for the future because we have this lovely Sagittarian energy moving in, and Jupiter is going to move forward by December. So we have another shift happening. January to March is also another time frame where things are changing, and we will see what we've been working on for the last few years manifest into something. So remember, take care of yourself and others, and I'll see you next time.